Having a great day, great practice. Been a great camp. A lot of guys out there making plays, flying around, playing together, so I'm excited.
What did you see on that RL interception, and then just overall, what did you see from him in camp?
Oh, that was a nice play by him. We were in a softer coverage down there. Two went to the flat. He pushed to the flat, and just you saw his length. He was in the window from a 7 cut in the flat concept, and he saw the quarterback throw it, and he went up and make it a play. I mean, he's been impressive. You know, not to put too much on the kid's plate, being a rookie, but he's picked up everything from a defensive structure, the calls, the adjustments, and he's running around playing fast and physical. The thing I love about him is if he messes up, he's not a repeat mistake offender. So he'll correct his mistake, learn from it, and if he makes a mistake, it's something that he doesn't know. So it's been outstanding to watch this young man grow.
Seems like your defense has really taken to heart stopping the run. That so far through 2 weeks you've done what you're asking them to do. How are they stopping the run so consistently so early?
Well, we're connected up front right now. You know, we're playing with good vertical knockback. We're setting the edge. I think the defense ends and outside linebackers have been outstanding in setting the edges, and we have some linebackers that fill gaps. You know, they come downhill with a sense of urgency. They're big players. They're aggressive, and everybody's playing with their hat in hands. The biggest thing is just their eyes. They know what they're looking at, and they fit in accordingly. And if we have something that we mess up, we correct it, we make it right, and then we come out and execute again.
Colton Hood looked like he had a good practice soon. On top of a bunch of passes that went in his direction.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him, the progress kind of that he's made the last week or so?
Well, it's another rookie. You know, every day is something new that comes up. You know, yesterday we were in a certain situation and he got beat, but he corrected it today. They tried to throw the same move at him, and his eyes were right. He's doing a hell of a job. He's spending a lot of time with the coaches, and, you know, I give kudos to my DB coaches. You know, Donald and Addison are, I think, some of the best two DB coaches in the National Football League, and he's taking the coaching. He's running to the coaching every day. He's spending extra time, and when he gets out here, he's doing what he's asked to do. And the new things that pop up with him is just stuff that he's never seen at this level. But you know, he's willing, and I think his growth still. He's just stacking days, and getting better.
Obviously, you have some injuries there, but how do you look at that competition there at that position?
Well, I think the whole team is competition. You know what I mean? It's competition at every spot. I always say this, man. Like, if you're comfortable, all right, when you have competitions, you're gonna sink. But when you have competition and you play hard, and you're resilient, all right, you're normally gonna come out on the winning side of it. And a lot of these guys are embracing, you know, competition. We talk about it all the time in the room, never compromise for competition. So, I mean, they're stacking days, and, you know, nothing's given in this game. You know, I learned this a long time ago. Every time that you line up, no matter if it's a play, the next year, the year after that, you got to prove and reprove yourself. All right, so, you know, guys are here trying to prove themselves. And if they don't, it's an opportunity for somebody else to play.
With Colton a little bit, is he a touch the stones and get burnt kind of guy? Because it seems like he wants to go through things, and then when he does something and realizes, okay, I know I can't get away with that in coverage, the next play he's kind of fixing whatever's going on.
No, I don't think he's a touch the stove type guy. It's the attention to detail. It's about being disciplined in what he does every play. When he's lined up and he's disciplined, he's impressed, and he has the right footwork, his hands, the right base, he's a pretty good player. When he goes out there and his legs stop and his feet stop, that's just like any corner in the National Football League. If you're not playing with the details and fundamentals, you're going to give up a few plays. But he's not a high risk, high reward type guy. You know, he's sharpening his tool bag, and he continues to progress and get better. I like where he's at.
What has stood out to you about Deontay Banks?
Deontay has come in he's another guy that's running towards coaching. You know, he's I think the buy-in to the culture change. I think the buy-in to playing more aggressively, and then, you know, just going out there and all the coaches, like I say, the DB coaches have poured so much love into that room. You know what I mean? And I think he's embraced it. So he's out here, he's fighting every day. You know, he's trying to get better. He's not a guy that's trying to be comfortable out there. He's trying to go make plays, and every day he's showing up. And I like where he's at right now too. It's a healthy group of DBs, and they're all playing well.
Is he
in my
in the
opinion.
mix for a starting role?
Everybody's in the mix to start. Even if you're not one of the first 11, you're a starter on this defense at some point because you're going to play, and we also have packages for people to play. So anybody that makes the 53-man roster or the 48, I consider them starters.
And how about Darius Alexander? What are your thoughts on him?
He's growing too. The big thing with him is being able to play the run and playing it consistently. Dennis Johnson is another hell of a coach that we have. Every day, if you watch the D-line, the discipline in terms of their hands, their feet staying connected, playing with the vertical knockback, he's been doing a good job of that. And then obviously we all know he can rush, you know what I mean? But we want him to be a old dirty bastard, a tough guy all the time. And that should be on his mind first, because if he does that, he can grow into a really good player.
What have you seen from Abdul?
Oh, Abdul, the big thing with Abdul is this. I spent a lot of time with Abdul last year coming out in the draft, being a high pick. Abdul was a hell of an athlete, and he played like a hell of an athlete last year. Right now what Abdul is doing is he's mastering the technique and fundamentals. Abdul is trying to be a technician on the football field. It's no more just pass rush. It's about being a true end, and he's embracing it every day. He comes out here and work. He's coming down the line, and they're running flash blocks, and he's trying to go meet it in the A and B gap, and then he has the ability to convert. I think just like all players, man, it's not the first year, it's the second year. It's the maturation. It's them growing as players, growing as men off the field, and you see these young guys growing every day because it's the second go-around or it's the third go-around. It's a new opportunity. It's a new staff. They're being embraced, from a coaching standpoint, and I think they all love being around each other in the room, and you're seeing it on the field right now. We just hope it carries over in the season and carries over in games.
We'll take a few more.
What is the excitement, but also the challenge of using so many versatile weapons down in and down out? Guys like Reese, Abdul, these players that can play different positions.
No, it's very exciting. I mean, we built a system here, not just the coaches, but the players as well. We put in a system that's in place, that the system has a lot of complex things to it, but the system is easy for them. It looks complicated to others, but it's easy for them because it's conceptual teaching. So the joy of being able to get guys to move in different spots, they're running the same thing over and over. You just don't know where it's coming from. First of all, Brian Burns is a pleasant surprise. I mean, he's an excellent player. I love being around him. He is a pro's pro. Kayvon Thibodeau is the same way. He brings excitement to the room. He brings guys, and you can see him. You can see him work with the young guys. Javon Holland, I think, is one of the better safeties in the National Football League, and it's his opportunity to come out here and prove it. And the list goes on. Greg Newsome has been excellent. He's a guy that's a glue guy that's, taking these young guys under his wing. Just being in the Greenbrier, seeing him sit at the lunch table with them the whole time and just communicate and talk ball, talk life. It's so many young men. Tremaine has been a bright spot for us, manning the green dot in the middle of the field, talking to Arvell every play and trying to help him out from his 8 years of playing in the National Football League. So for me, it's just exciting to see these guys grow together, exciting for them trying to be detailed and disciplined every day, and coming out here and flying around and flying to the ball as fast as they can.
What's made Burns a pleasant surprise?
Just, I remember when he came out, he was just a skinny kid coming out of college and getting here and seeing, he's a big man now. He's a pro's pro. He is disciplined in everything he does. And you mix that discipline, you mix that leadership with the skill set that he has. It's like the young guys have to follow, right? And he's a guy that if he doesn't see something right, he's going to address it. He's going to take the bull by the horn and move the room. So it's been outstanding being around him. I enjoy my time with him every day. Our small conversations about things other than football. I mean, he's an interesting guy, and he's a hell of a football player.
Tyler Newbern, you didn't mention him, but Tyler Newbern?
Yeah, Tyler Newbern is getting better. His biggest challenge right now is just looking at the right things. When he looks at the right things on a consistent level, he makes plays, right? So that's been his focus, but he's flashed, he's made plays, he's been good in the run, good playing in space. We've moving around a little bit, and he's keep progressing, and I'm excited about him as well.
Sound like you like this defense.
I love this defense. I love the New York Giants.
What's the balance of fitting, like what works well for Jaxson to what you guys want to run, and like how do you meld those two things together?
Yeah, it's a great question for us. It's the number one question we talked about when we got here with Coach Harbs and how we saw this thing. You go through it every team, every new coordinator, every new head coach, every new quarterback. You got to decide, what's best for that player and for our offense. And so, but at the same point in time, we want to also look at, schematically, where do we see this thing going, and then trying to fit everything together. And that's been the process for us going through this. That started way back in February and March, and now it gets to this point where we're just trying to load up as much film as possible, as many plays as possible for us to put on tape to evaluate and try to see, okay, what do our players do well, and how do we accentuate their strengths and make us the best team possible as we kind of create this identity of what and who we're going to be.
Obviously, it looks a lot different than what they did last year. How do you think he has made that acclimation to this point?
Jaxson?
Yeah,
he's done a great job. There's gonna be highs and lows through this process. We talk about it as a staff. Like, we have to make sure that as we go through this journey, we never get too high and we never get too low. Today was an average practice, maybe below average. It wasn't good enough. He knows that, we know that. We'll put it on tape, but we also talk about success through struggles, and that's kind of there's gonna be some struggles as we go through this now in training camp and during the season. But how do we react? And when you can get it on tape and evaluate and try to show them what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong, it happens quicker. And I think that Jaxson, per se, one of the most impressive parts of his game right now is the volume we've given him to get in and out of that huddle and some of the things we're doing, and he's aced that. Now there's other areas that he needs to get better at, but we need to help him as coaches too and do our job.
How long does it take a young quarterback, like you're teaching a new footwork, new offense, how long does it take a QB for it to start slowing down mentally so they can play at the speed that they
Every quarterback's a little bit different based off of what you're doing in the offense. I would say if we're evaluating Jaxson, which we are, and you sit there and you look at, I just go back personally to OTAs, and when we were first teaching this thing, we spent phase 2 just kind of trying to teach this thing ground up in buckets and phases and not necessarily plays. So we spent several weeks of just teaching the concepts and teaching whether it's run or pass, circles. We called it musical chairs, not positions. So everybody had to know the concept. So we weren't running plays. So we spent some time for them to understand, hey, if I'm in this spot or this spot, what do I do? That's how you understand the basis of an offense. And then now we get to the phase 3, and you take it to training camp, and now we're running plays, and we get to see, like, okay, not only are we doing what we do, but now we get to see a crazy defense with Dennard and what he does. So you put it all together, and I think that every quarterback's a little bit different, but my biggest thing with him was being able to get through these practices and get in. It sounds simple, but be able to get in the huddle, call the play, get up to the line of scrimmage, see the defense, and play fast. He's calling every play, he's seeing it. When he says it, he's not just listening and memorizing it. When you can get to that point and you start seeing guys talk like this in the huddle, they're speaking to the person, he's there. So he's aced that part. Now we got to get it to the part of seeing the defense and taking it to the next level, because the kid is super talented.
What is it about Dennard's defense that you call crazy?
Well, I mean, I've always had a ton of respect for Dennard, and now to come here and get to meet him and see what he's about and how he ticks and what his staff is about, they do a lot of good stuff. So without getting into scheme, I'll just say that it's a very challenging defense, and it's something that for sure is going to make us be better in the long run as an offense. Even though it's going to look at times like it's not very good, we got to balance that and understand that's okay, and that he's going to give us some difficult looks, whether it's protection, whether it's run game, whether it's a coverage, back end, disguising things. So that's the nature of the beast. We got to stay patient. And our message with Jaxson right now is just stay right here. Just stay even keel, never get too high, never get too low, and just be yourself.
Why do you think this is just by look, you haven't been able to hit a lot of passes downfield early in camp? Is that part of the learning process for Jaxson?
I would say,
what do you make of that?
No, most of these practices are scripted, so there's an intentionality of being able, like we started out trying to protect their legs a little bit for the first probably 3 or 4 days, and there was probably a little bit of more possession throws, so there's not even chances for downfield throws early on. But then when you do get an opportunity, whether it's play action or drop back for those throws, again, it's never going to. They're still learning this offense. They're learning it. There's things that they're familiar with, and there's things that there's not. There's things that our staff is familiar with, and things that they're not. That I'm not. We're growing together in this process, and that's the beauty of all of this. So. I just have a lot of trust in our offensive staff. I have a ton of trust in Coach Harbs, and I know he has a plan. I know internally what he wants, and now it's growth every day. And so if it's a big shot, if there's 1 or 2 of them, great. But when you do get a chance, you got to make it.
Can a young quarterback being under center in a new offense be helpful for him?
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's. I think most people will tell you I played quarterback my entire life, and having a run game is the friendliest thing in the world. I mean, you want to be able to run the football. Everybody says it, but you got to be able to do it. So being under center is going to protect you with some of the play actions and different things you do, but I would say absolutely. And Jackson's had no issue with that. I mean, we're doing a bunch of different things with it.
What do you make of the run game, especially the running back side?
Yeah, it's well, the players, I like our room. I think we got a good group of guys. Getting Scat back and trying to get him healthy and getting him to where a point he's at. He looks really good. I think he's slowly every day improving, which is great. And then Trace back there, he's a super smooth guy that just does everything the right way. And you get Singletary and these young guys in there. It's a great mix. So we like where we're at there. You got to have holes when you run the football. You got to have some space, and I think that Coach Bloom and Giro and Coach Newsome have done a great job with the protection stuff or with the run blocking and protection. It's been good. I mean, I like what we're doing. Again, we're halfway through camp right now. We have still 2.5 weeks. We're halfway through our run stall and halfway through our pass install. If it gives you any perspective, we still have a lot left, and we're trying to just figure out, okay, what do we want to do as we go through it, and we think we have a good idea.
How do you stay patient?
How do you stay patient with it?
Yeah, you've been in a situation where that first game comes quick.
Yeah, it comes. Well, we have. When I say that, we have an idea of what we want to do. I'm talking play-wise, big picture. We know play-wise, you start to build a little bit of a library of what our guys do well. We're not going to give them stuff that we just want to do because we want to do it. If we do something, it's because they like it and they do it. They do a good job at it in any phase of the game. So putting all that together and cutting it loose, it's going to be here quickly. So getting as much stuff. The one thing Coach Harbs does is get a ton of reps of plays. So whether it's walkthrough, group install, or competitive, we have a lot of stuff on tape right now that we're able to pull and look at and decide what do we want to do.
It seems like Malachi has kind of made an early impression just with what everyone said he could do with his catch radius, his size. Just what do you make of his progression so far as a rookie learning this offense?
It's impressive. He's a kid that literally every install that we do, run and pass, he's a kid that when you're walking up in front of the group and you're teaching, his eyes never leave you, and never. I mean, he wants to know everything. Then he gets on the field and he does like almost everything right. And then he's talented, so it's impressive. He's got to be able to do this moving forward every day in the games. But I think that I think a lot of them, and I think Chad Hall's done a hell of a job with them.
Last one.
When you have a player like Isaiah Likely, already you can tell Jackson sees what kind of safety valve he is.
Yeah.
How much of a weapon is that? I mean, you've worked with some good tight ends.
Yeah.
How much of a weapon is that in the league?
It's nice to have because Isaiah has some experience here, and so there's a comfort level of a guy that there's a trust in this thing, right? So there's a trust level of you've done it, you've done these routes, and so now they're going to test it out and just kind of build their own library what they want to do. But when you have that, that's special. And Zay's done a great job. He's super smart, gets it both in the run and pass game, competitive. So it's been good. I'm really happy with our guys, and I think that it's slowly every day getting a little bit better and better. And I can't wait to get to it, in games and on the field. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, what do you want to see from Jackson next? You kind of mentioned that there's still areas that you want to see improvement.
Well, it'll be really good to get out there, as we get going here with getting closer to these preseason games and just the prep side of it, making sure that he can take some of these things that we're finding in the process that maybe we want to get his eyes to a certain spot in the progression, and he's struggling to get to that point. Finding those plays, like if there's one or two plays where he might not be seeing it well, let's figure out why you're not, and if you're not, let's just get rid of the play. Let's go to a different play. We got enough plays, and so we're digging through that right now. We're filtering through that to figure out what does he like, what's he feel comfortable with. And so now when we find those plays and we figure out what that is, now you got to go execute and make them happen on the field. And I think like that's what the biggest probably obstacle that we're going through right now, which is fun as a coaching staff.